Okay, so here it is. I was gonna do a video about putting it on a nice stand, and I'm rethinking it because the weather. So I want to make sure my table leg is out all the way. It's an old table. The weather where I live is cold a lot of the time, and so it's been really warm. And so rather than put a lot of time into what kind of base, I was going to do air dust collection and maybe it's like a rigid shop vac underneath with a dust separator chip collector over here. That's going to take up a lot of space. I don't have much room in my back porch. I just threw this on here. It's a lot to carry. It's whatever it is, 75, 80 pounds. And so I, I'd like to have a stand for it at some point, but honestly, I need to produce. And so I've got my tables. One of the sides is glued up. I took the cutoffs from the tapered legs and I made these ash sticks. And they're just about the right thickness. Well, they're thick enough that they can be planed down, but I need them to be even with what's happening there because I'm going to use them as strips to manage the drawers. And so the light out here is probably pretty blue. The sun is going down, so I'd like to make a nicer video, and I will at some point, but this is technically the maiden voyage. And so I'm going to shove these through for sure, and I'm going to gradually shave them down until they fit even with those. That was a nice piece of beech that I cut on my table saw. And you're going to see here the blade kind of was up, and I got two different cuts. Other places I can't feel the seam as much, but I could use this for a box or maybe for inserts or something. And then this, I just was curious. I've got some, I cut this on actually like a little Wen 10-inch, or yeah, 10-inch bandsaw in the basement that I have. And so I want to see how it handles, the planer handles some of this stuff. I mean, some of it's really pretty, and I'd like to make it thinner than what it is now. Maybe just about this thickness, maybe a little bit thinner, but I'd like to make some boxes. And so that's the lumber I've got to go. Here's a piece of just poplar. And what I want to do is, again, I ran it through the table saw, and you can see that shelf right there, that edge or lip. I just want to flatten that out and make it even. And so that's what the thickness planer is good for. I am going to check the stock going through with a caliper and just make sure that if I send it through on this side, it's the same thickness as if I send it through on this side. The other thing is I did put a straight edge in here. And I mean, it's kind of even. Actually, this is sitting on some wood. All right, now it's not. It almost looks like the table is a little bowed. And it's coming up a little bit. It's better to have the table up rather than down, because it's when the piece of wood goes up a little bit is when it gets hit by the cutters more and you get snipe. That's where it just will gouge out your board. So this is close enough for now. I just need to get at least part of these thinned down to where I can fill this, glue that into place, and then I can start actually building drawers for another set of tables. So that is what is going on at the moment. I'm going to turn this on and see what happens. Again, I'm doing this handheld because I'm in a hurry, but I'm cranking this down. So counterclockwise is down. One of the reasons I bought this is because it has the IndyCut. I think that's what they call it. It has a gauge in here, and there's a, where is it? There's a feeler. So what happens is there's a little button in here. That button right there, when you push, when something pushes up on it, it tells you how far it's moving up. And so I'm going to drop this down until it's sitting on this piece of poplar. I've got a ways to go, but if you have no idea if this indicator gauge is accurate, and there's some planers that don't have this indicator, and that's what I was shopping for. Oh, actually, I hit the I'm at 1 inch exactly, as far as I know. Okay, that's weird. What was happening there? That's weird. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to figure that out. It's gonna be more than an inch. So anyways, once I take the cutter head up, I'll take a look at that. So I'm gonna keep going down. Actually, I'm gonna set it to 1/8. So I'm gonna go down until it bumps the wood. Okay, so I'm going to run this up a little bit. As I go counterclockwise this way, you're going to see that gauge start to rise. So you can see that if I run right now, if I go with that, it's going to take off quite a bit, like a 1/16 of an inch. And I don't want to take off that much. So this is the nice thing about the gauge is if you're trying to put a piece of wood in here and you have no idea just how accurate this gauge is, that you can use this and it'll give you an idea of how much is going to get chewed off or cut off or cut back, however you want to phrase it. So I actually need to crank this up a little bit, get this out of here, and I'm going to run it down and then do some test cuts. All right, here goes nothing. Burn like a kitten. So at least I know the rollers work. So that's one pass. So I'm going to do So I'm going to drop this down some more. That gauge, I'm going to pull this out and then really give it a cut. So maybe a little bit of snipe, but not bad. I mean, it's where it got cut. That's a beautiful finish. So I'm going to run it down a little bit more, and then yeah, I'm just going to keep going with it. Use the rollers on top here. So it's you can tell there's a bit of a belly on this piece of wood. So I'm just going to keep dropping that down just a quarter turn and keep flattening this out. You can see the shinier part is where the blades are cleaning this up. So yeah, so far so good. So I'm gonna work on this table. I'm gonna try to get this down, and I'm gonna see how it works on the figured wood. See how much tear out there is. But yeah, so far I'm pretty happy. So I used the caliper to check the edges. So I checked it over here, checked it over there. It's exactly the same. I mean, the blades are new. It's not defectively misaligned. So I'm happy with that. One thing about using a planer, I have good luck using a tip that I heard. If you twist the wood when it's going in, just make sure there's not banging into the side of the planer. But if it does, it usually gets kind of pulled through without too much drama. But if you angle the wood a little bit, it gives it more of a shear cut, and it's less likely to do a little bit of tear out. So, you know, you can try it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then, you know, maybe, you know, get a really, really expensive planer or that DeWalt for twice as much. So anyways, time to get to work. Okay, one disappointing thing is I sent these figured ash boards through there and they are just chopped up. So that is not great. So either I'm taking too much off. I'm going to maybe back it out, but this board is about 1/8 of an inch of divoting all through there. That was not great. So I don't know what as figured as the grain is. Maybe I sent it the wrong way, but that was not a really great production. I might be able to fix it on the jointer, but yeah, the planer did not enjoy that. Final thoughts: if you're going to have something like this, I did not send this guy. If you're going to have a knot, I would suggest filling it with CA glue, maybe. This looks pretty rotten, and it looks like it was pretty easy to pop out. So that came out, and it sounded like a golf ball bouncing around in there. So that was not great. So I might just cut that off. It's probably the best thing to do. So I might get that guy off too, unless I can somehow, like I said, secure it with super glue or resin. But yeah, be smart, avoid that, and otherwise I'm going to stick with the less figured woods, or maybe kind of thin them close and try to see if I can get them done on the jointer a little bit to avoid some of that chip out. So, all right, thanks for watching. Okay, so here's a flipping idiot power move. These two were going in, and I fed them too closely, and so one it jammed up the rollers, and so they stopped feeding through, and I didn't know it. I was on the other side, so when I came around, it had done something like that. So it's a silly thing. I didn't really think it would happen, but it did. So just be careful when you're feeding these through. You can kind of line them up side by side and go straight in. So I like to angle them a little bit, but just make sure when you're feeding them that you don't ride them up like that. It's not a big deal, because I am going to these are just filler pieces, and then they're getting pretty close. So I like what's happening there. I just need a little bit more. But anyways, that was one way I found to mess this up. Something that was otherwise going very well. But that's flippin' idiot style for you right there, ladies and gentlemen.